More Joe and Coquel Show here on ESPN 106.3, ESPNWestPalm.com, the free ESPN app. A very cool event coming up here in just a couple of days. And joining us now on the Metro PCS hotline, the moderator for the event, Perspectives on Football, Philanthropy, and Jewish Values, being put on for the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. Also a co-owner for the New York Giants, Jonathan Tisch, joining us here on ESPN 106.3. Mr. Tisch, we'll start off with just kind of the message that you guys are going to try to share while you're the moderator. Jeffrey Lurie, owner of the Eagles. Stephen Ross, as we know, Miami Dolphins owner down here. Leonard Wolf also will be in attendance, will be a part of this event going on. But the overall message, the overall theme of what you guys are going to be trying to put out there when you are at the Kravis Center will be what?
You have four different ownership groups representing almost a quarter of the NFL. And I think it'll be very interesting for those in attendance to hear what were the motivating factors why these gentlemen decided to make an investment in an NFL team. These are very successful business people. They could have invested in a bunch of different opportunities over the past 10, 20 years, but they chose to own an NFL team. And since they made their acquisitions, there have been positive aspects of the league. There are challenges, just like there are in any business. And so to hear from these three gentlemen, and certainly in my role as co-owner of the Giants, I think the audience will be really in a unique situation to hear from some very successful business people who also happen to be NFL owners.
This is coming up on February 12th, so up in this weekend, 11 a.m., it'll be underway. Now, this is actually sold out, so we are just discussing this mainly just to see what is going on, but again, being put on by the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County, the multiple NFL owners being a part of this. I've always found it interesting, the balance that you have to have as an NFL organization, or really just an owner in sports, between running a business and something that you are, wanting to win, wanting to be competitive in, and wanting to put in a lot of emotion at the same time. How do you, in particular, manage to balance out what is your bottom line and what is ultimately something that you are looking to really focus on as a money-making venture, with also wanting to win and wanting to put in the investments in there again emotionally?
I think that's a very good perspective and an excellent question about all sports, but especially football. I think we saw this weekend we had two excellent teams that played in the Super Bowl. They're committed to their players. They're committed to winning, but they're also successful business operations. Between Bob Kraft and Arthur Blank, you've got two smart guys. But that's the question that all 32 teams face. We're fortunate at the New York Giants. We have the Mara family as our partners. My father, Bob Tisch, bought half the team, 50% of the team in 1991, and until he passed away in 2005, he had a wonderful working relationship with Wellington Mara. And they shared responsibilities as it came to certain aspects of the game, but also on the business side. The Mara family have owned the team since 1925. We came in 1991 to become their partners. And you do have to find that balance between wanting excellence on the field, committing capital to ensure that you have the best players possible, that you're working in facilities that make sense for your team, that especially in today's world with the opportunity to enhance the stadium experience. Those are all things that are very important to the operation, but they're also important to the fan. How can you make the case for people leaving their homes, possibly sitting in traffic, as opposed to watching the game in their living room on a 50-inch screen, and you even have the red zone experience where you can watch 10 games at once. So these are all aspects of making sure that you're putting out a product that can be successful. But once again, as we saw on Sunday, when we start around Labor Day weekend, there are 32 teams that all have the same record. But on Super Bowl Sunday, only two teams have made it through the process to play in a very important, exciting game.
Jonathan Tisch joining us here on ESPN 106.3, moderator for the event, the Jewish Federation, again, of Palm Beach County, putting on a fantastic event coming up this weekend, February 12th, 11 a.m., gets underway at the Kravis Center here in downtown West Palm Beach. Perspectives on football, philanthropy, and Jewish values. You will have multiple NFL owners as a part of this, and obviously Mr. Tisch, a co-owner, joining us here on ESPN 106.3 and a part of the event. as well. So we'll all put our cards out here on the table. Obviously, you are tied in together with that organization. I went to a Giants game this year. I traveled up to New York. I was there as a Cowboys fan, and unfortunately, I'm sure you remember that did not go as I had hoped, but certainly went in your favor. The Giants have been, for me, a pain in my side, a pain in terms of my football, fandom because of the sustained greatness. We just saw the Patriots, as you said, one of the premier franchises in the NFL, more sustained long-term greatness. In the NFL, how difficult is it to be able to stretch that across seasons when there is so much conversation about parity and wanting to continually change over and make that part of the intrigue?
It is very hard to win, and it's really hard to win on a consistent basis. And that's why you have to admire teams like the Patriots and admire teams like the Seattle Seahawks or teams that have had a winning record over a variety of years. Everything has to go your way. It has to work in terms of injuries or lack thereof. It has to work in terms of you're winning when other teams are losing. As we saw with the Green Bay Packers, you have to start winning and creating momentum as you go through the playoffs, and obviously the Packers beat us up in Green Bay once the playoffs started. We also saw on Sunday, and we witnessed this in our game against the Patriots a few years back in Phoenix, this is a game of inches. And when you had a couple passes that were literally an inch or two from hitting the turf, play would have been over, maybe the game would have ended. When you go back, you think back to David Tyree and the helmet catch. Everything has to work in your favor. And here you had the Patriots down by a large margin. They were able to put together some winning plays. They created the momentum. But also winning is about understanding where your breaks are. And we say that you need luck in life, but winners tend to have more luck. And I think, once again, like any other business, the NFL is a business. Football is a business. And you have to create a winning attitude amongst your team members and in management and the players. And that is not easy to do, and it's even harder to do on a consistent basis, especially when there is such turnover in terms of your personnel due to free agency and the draft.
New York Giants co-owner Jonathan Tisch joining us here on ESPN 106.3, moderator for the event coming up on February 12th, 11 a.m. from the Kravis Center in downtown West Palm Beach. Again, the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County putting it on. Perspectives on football, philanthropy, and Jewish values. Several NFL team owners, a speaker panel being put together. Brunch will be served at this event as well. Already sold out, but joining Mr. Tisch, Jeffrey Lurie of the Philadelphia Eagles, Stephen Ross, Miami Dolphins, Leonard Wolf of the Minnesota Vikings. Last one for me, really, and it's just, again, the nature of the business of the NFL and how it ties together with the sport of the NFL. What is your relationship with the three other guys that you will be sharing the panel? Because obviously you guys are competitors and you have all different teams that you're representing. You'll be, taking the field on those Sundays and going toe-to-toe with their organizations, with your organization as well. But also 32 teams, 32 owners all kind of working together in terms of making the NFL as viable as possible. What is your relationship with the three gentlemen that will be joining you on that panel, and how do you balance that out?
I've known each of the gentlemen on the panel this coming Sunday for many, many years. And Steve Ross predominantly lives here in New York, where I live. He's in the real estate business. We come across each other in certain development opportunities. Jeff Lurie goes back many, many years, where he even talked to my father before my father's interest in the New York Giants about buying a team together. Lenny Wilf, once again a New Jersey real estate family. And I think what you see amongst the 32 owners is a deep respect for the other 31 teams. You'll see it in terms of pregame conversations where the owners will go from one sideline to the other sideline. You'll see it at the end of the game. This is a small club, only 32 teams, and that means that there are 32 owners. And the respect that they each have for each other, the respect that they have for the NFL. This is a large business with lots of moving parts. But once again, if you're going to be an NFL owner, you probably have a sense of running a business, and you probably have other interests that have led you to have the kind of capital to be able to invest in the NFL. And you also have a sense of curiosity, a sense of discipline, a sense of wanting to win. And that comes through in the interactions between each owner and that day's competitor. But this is a group of people, men and women, who respect each other, and I truly believe like each other.
Again, Jonathan Tisch joining us here on ESPN 106.3, moderator for the event coming up this weekend. I believe I said Saturday earlier. It is Sunday morning, February 12th, 11 a.m., held at the Kravis Center. Mr. Tisch, we appreciate the time and the insight into a pretty unbelievable event going on, brought to you by the Jewish Federation of Palm Beach County. Best of luck and enjoy yourself here in South Florida, and hopefully continued success for your team, as much as it does pain me a little bit.
Well, we appreciate the Cowboys had a great year, and Jerry Jones certainly well-deserved that he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Again, Jonathan Tisch joining us here on ESPN 106.3, and I meant what I said, and there's no reason to hide from that. They really have been a pain in my butt. I try not to say pain in the ass in front of an NFL owner, but they've been a pain in the butt for a very, very long time, mostly involving like Eli Manning, and it has just been the bane of my football existence for a while now. Joe Colella, Chris Coquel, Joe and Coquel Show here on ESPN 106.3. That'll do it for us. An hour of Jalen and Jacoby coming up next. Izzy in Spain. After that, we will be back tomorrow, 90-minute edition of the show, leading you into Heat basketball. All that right here on ESPN 106.3. Jalen and Jacoby up next, right here on ESPN West Palm.